Chapter 1. It usually takes a lot to shake me while I'm on the clock, but these political gatherings are tough to get through for most single women. I am no exception. I grit my teeth and pretend like my system isn't being bombarded with alpha pheromones. As I glance to the side, I can tell I'm not the only one in the throng of reporters who is on edge from all the airborne aggression. A couple of the other female journalists are fidgeting, and a burly man holding a video camera on his shoulders is flexing his free hand. Probably an alpha himself, judging by the size of him. But he's been through this before, as have we all, and we're all pretending like we're not noticing the testosterone rolling off the mayoral candidates in thick waves. I clench my pen tighter and squirm in my chair from discomfort at the latent aggression as I take in the 5 candidates. Every single one is so obviously alpha, which I think is just another sound reason to avoid any and all politicians. When your job is not to cover them for the most volatile election in recent memory, of course. I'd like to offer you all my warmest welcome to this, our 3rd debate. The current Lord Mayor smiles from his podium up front in what I'm sure his PR team meant to be a jovial manner. Lord Mayor Bremen is a man in his 60s, with dark gray hair and sharp eyes, and he has ruled Mattenburg with an iron fist for 8 years. If there is one thing he's not, it's jovial. With only 2 weeks to Election Day, we have a busy schedule ahead of us. So let us get started with the evening's topic of CO2 emissions and recreational planning. I start to write notes on my trusty notepad, not bothering to look up while Bremen continues his introduction to the 3rd subject the candidates have to discuss in a public forum before the elections. To get us started, I am certain Mr. Peter Leod will enlighten us on the Liberals' viewpoints. I look up, my pen pausing in time to see the Lord Mayor step backward and allow for one of the other candidates to take the floor. It is well known that he and Leod have been butting heads since before the election campaign started, and as far as I know, Bremen has never allowed him to open a debate. If Leod is as surprised by the gesture as I am, as the rest of the room appears to be, then he doesn't show it. He is a very tall man, who hides his alpha physique as best he can underneath an immaculately pressed white shirt and a blue suit. No doubt in order to appeal to the liberal citizens his party represents, the ones who don't care for archaic roles and biologically dictated power structures. I probably would have voted for him myself if it wasn't because I've been exposed to the lies and corruption within our city council for a few years now, thanks to my job. There are no Santa Claus, no Tooth Fairy, and definitely no trustworthy politician in this city. Thank you, Lord Mayor. Leod lets his eyes sweep over the cameras and gathered reporters, the air of confidence that has made him rise from a relative nobody to a serious contender within the span of 2 years vibrating from him like a near tangible entity. I frown and stare at his defined features in the hopes of seeing even a glimmer of surprise or annoyance. But there is nothing but cool, calm self-assuredness. Maybe I'm just grasping at air, hoping to see something, anything that will make a 3-hour debate on CO2 even slightly interesting. I've barely had the thought when his sweeping gaze catches mine. A jolt shoots through my body, almost like someone sent an electric current through me. I blink, startled, and immediately proceed to drop my pen. I hurriedly close my knees and catch it in my skirt before it can clatter to the floor. What the hell was that? I clutch my pen tighter as I suppress the odd tingling sensation in my tailbone, left behind by whatever the hell that electric jolt was. But when I look back up, he is still looking right at me, his cool gray eyes seemingly boring into mine. I am vaguely aware that my mouth hangs open and that tendrils of sensation are running down my arms until my fingertips buzz, but mainly, I'm just quietly freaking out. Why the hell is he staring at me? He looks angry. His nostrils flare and a small frown makes its appearance on his forehead. This makes no sense. I am certain he doesn't know me personally, and I've never written anything remotely exciting enough for a man like Leod to take notice. It seems to dawn on him that he was meant to be talking right now, because he jerks his gaze away, smoothing the small frown as he resumes his speech. I breathe a shaky sigh of relief at the loss of his attention, but I can't stop my hands from trembling. I don't understand what just happened. I don't understand why he was staring at me, and I certainly don't understand why my body is doing whatever the hell it is it's doing. The buzzing in my tailbone seems to intensify for every shuddered breath. My bewildered thoughts come to an abrupt halt when my abdomen suddenly contracts and cramps. I manage to bite down on my yelp of surprise and pain, stifling it to a grunt. The woman next to me gives me a puzzled look, but no one else seems to have noticed. Sweat starts to trickle down my forehead, and my hands now shake worse than ever. Oh God, what is this? I frantically go through everything I've eaten all day to gauge if it's a really poorly timed food poisoning, but I'm interrupted by another cramp low in my belly. I bite my tongue hard to avoid crying out, clutching my pen and now crumbled up notepad as hard as I can until it's over. I have to get out of here before I barf on someone. Once it's finally over, I scramble to my feet, doing my best not to make so much noise I draw any attention, and I manage to get to the passage that runs between the seated reporters before I have the next attack. Only this time, it feels different. Instead of pain, an intense heat blooms in my abdomen. It's so strong I have to lean over and brace my hands against my knees while I gasp, and then it's like something snaps inside of me. I cry out as fluids rush from deep in my very core, and for a moment I think I am hemorrhaging. But the liquid that floods my panties and soaks through my skirt to make a puddle on the floor beneath me isn't red. It's clear. I stare at it in uncomprehending shock for 2 full seconds, gasping for breath. What the hell? A deep growl makes me look up, confused and embarrassed beyond belief. Everyone's staring at me, and apart from the unwavering growl, you can hear a pin drop. I catch Leod's eyes as I desperately try to get a grasp on the situation and freeze to the spot. His eyes are no longer cool gray, but deep black, and his nostrils are flared. But he's not the one growling. Movement from closer by catches my attention in time to see the big alpha cameraman toss his equipment to the ground so it breaks into 1,000 pieces. I gape at him, briefly wondering what on earth he's doing, until I catch sight of his face. His nostrils are as flared as Leod's and his eyes pure black. And he's coming for me. The second he lunges, all hell breaks loose. I scream, loud and shrilly as the giant of a man throws himself at me like a crazy person. But he's intercepted by another alpha. The newcomer grabs him by the shoulders and tosses him to the side before he turns toward me. The same black look of insanity is in his eyes. The cameraman returns and swings a punch at his head, regaining his attention. What the hell has gotten into them? I stumble backward, try to get away from them, but trip over someone's chair, lose my balance, and fall on my ass with a squeal. Another hot, wet cramp deep in my abdomen makes me groan on impact and clutch my stomach. "Get up!" someone hisses above me, and 2 small but surprisingly strong hands grab me underneath the armpits and pull me up. What I see when I'm once again vertical makes my jaw hit my chest. The press conference has turned into a brawl. Fists are flying everywhere in the heaving throng of reporters and politicians, punctuated by loud growls and roars. And above it all is the unmistakable scent of alpha in rut. Of multiple alphas in rut. "Dear God," I whisper, clutching my bag like a safety blanket against my body. I've never seen anything like this. We are supposed to be civilized, supposed to have control over our baser instincts, but this is like being trapped in a cage with a pack of savage animals. What the hell happened? "You happened," the voice from before hisses behind me. I spin around to blink at the person and find a red-headed woman with a staff badge on her blazer's lapel. "Come with me, now!" "I don't know what you mean," I protest, though I follow her as she grabs my arm and starts leading me through the fray of women and beta males trying to skirt the fighting alphas. Several have cameras pointed toward the middle of the brawl. She seems to know where she's going, And all I want right now is to get out of there so I can find somewhere to lay down until my cramps are over. She shoots a pointed look over her shoulder at my crotch, where a wet patch is clearly visible. You presented, in the middle of 20-plus alphas. What did you expect was gonna happen? Now let me get you the hell out of here before any of those idiots get a hold of you and permanently wreck their careers. I falter, shock numbing my muscles for a second. But the redhead continues to drag me along, taking us through an emergency exit door and pulling me into a deserted hallway. She pushes a key into the lock and twists it, securing the door. What do you mean, presented? I say, the note of hysteria audible even to my own ears. I would never. I've never. She draws in a deep breath and finally turns to look at me. Look, just calm down. I'll get someone to take you home. You got a man waiting for you? What? No, I live alone. I gape at her. Why would you? The redhead lifts one shoulder at me in an almost apologetic gesture before she pulls out her walkie-talkie. I hope you've stocked up on batteries then. Scott, I need a car to meet me at level 2. Make sure the driver is female, understood? The last part she speaks into the walkie. Some reporter chick freaking presented in the middle of Liad's speech. Damn press conference nearly turned into a live gangbang.
You can listen to the rest of the book in the Tempt Romance audiobooks app, available on the App Store and Google Play. The link to the book is in the description. Discover even more bestsellers and exclusive stories updated weekly, only in Tempt Romance audiobooks.